Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Family Sedan channel. Ripple just launched a major new product called Liquidity Hub, and it doesn't use XRP. It uses other cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum. So it has a lot of people in our community scratching their heads, and Ripple did end up clarifying the rationale for why XRP isn't being used in this product, and that just upset certain people in our community even further. Many anticipating that what Ripple used as an explanation for the lack of XRP within this software was some sort of indication that Ripple is no longer confident that they'd be winning their lawsuit against the SEC. And I just have to respectfully disagree. And on top of that, there's a lot of confusion and misunderstanding about what Liquidity Hub even is. And I've had entire videos in the past dedicated to explaining everything that's been made publicly available to the point where I made such videos. And people seem to think that this is some sort of product where XRP necessarily needs to be bridging currencies, this and that. And like, that's what on-demand liquidity is. This is a different product for a different purpose, so I'm going to break it down. And also, an attorney within our community, attorney Bill Morgan, explains what he thinks is going on. And folks, it's not bad stuff. I don't think that this is bad. I don't think it's wrong. I think what Ripple is doing is right, and I think it's strategic. It's everything. Everything's going to be fine. Just children, gather around the campfire. Let Uncle Moon Lambo. Oh, did I say the wrong name? let Moon Family Sedan just ease your worried selves. But before going further, I do want to be clear. I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. So just some real quick table setting here. We've known about Liquidity Hub since November of 2021, so almost a year and a half at this point. Here's a headline from CoinDesk, November 9th, 2021. Ripple to launch liquidity service for 6 cryptocurrencies. And here's a headline from Cointelegraph. Ripple to launch Liquidity Hub for finance firms that want to offer crypto trading. And here was Ripple's announcement from their Insights series. This is their blog series, Ripple Insights. And November 9th, 2021, Ripple Liquidity Hub for the enterprise. There's only a small snippet here. I guess that might be redundant, but I want to share with you so you can see what was announced at that exact point in time, almost a year and a half ago. Ripple wrote the following. While the XRP ledger and XRP are and will remain a native part of our tech stack, we at Ripple believe that achieving interoperability is key to unlocking crypto's true potential. The ability to interoperate crypto across networks will break down barriers to entry and enable greater competition and inclusion. Because of this, Ripple Liquidity Hub will initially support Bitcoin, ETH, Litecoin, Ethereum Classic, Bitcoin. By the way, a fun fact, that's the worst cryptocurrency on the entire planet. I hold it, by the way, so I can say that. Bitcoin Cash and XRP, though in parentheses there, right after XRP, availability will vary by geography. And then they're right, with plans to add additional digital assets over time. In the future, Ripple plans to add functionality such as staking and yield-generating functionalities. So, what is Liquidity Hub? Like, what does it functionally do, and what's with the interest suddenly in all these other cryptocurrencies? It's a very simple concept. Liquidity Hub, quite simply, is a matchmaking service. It helps pair up buyers with sellers. That really is it in a nutshell. In fact, if you look at this, this is a tweet from Ripple, and this happens to be from March 26th of last year. There is a tweet, and they wrote the following. This is from the official Ripple account. Similar to Google Flights or Kayak, aggregating the best travel prices, Ripple Liquidity Hub will enable partners to help their customers buy, sell, and hold crypto at optimized pricing. So you see, folks, it is just like Kayak. It is just like Google Flights. And so there's a bunch of different entities that have a bunch of different prices for a bunch of different cryptocurrencies. And then separately, there are a bunch of different entities in the world of business that want to buy these things for their customers. And so it just helps to source the cheapest liquidity, keeps markets competitive and tight. That's it. It's never been described as Ripple is selling any of these things. It's never been described as that. It's, hey, we're playing matchmaker. That's it. It's a messaging service. Plain and simple. Now, could it evolve to something in the future that's more than that? Yes. Could it be more than what they've articulated publicly to this point? Sure, I guess. But then we're just, playing around in skepticism land, and if you want to do that, okay, that's fine. But this is what it is. This is what we know to be true to this point. And one of the cryptocurrencies that Ripple was going to help these entities source was XRP. But upon launch of this product, it is no more. And so here you can see, actually, where's the headline? Here we go. This is a headline from the Crypto Basic. Ripple Liquidity Hub now live for businesses with no mention of XRP. And it was a little bit strange that Ripple announced this. And previously, they announced 6 cryptocurrencies. Now there's just 5. The one that's missing is XRP. What gives? And there's speculation flying. Now, I think it would have been less messy and nicer if this was just explained right out the gate. But ultimately, Ripple did come back and explain what was going on. But it didn't, unfortunately, it didn't put out the fire. It just created a new fire, unfortunately, which I'm going to try and put out. Because seriously, nothing bad or terrible is going on here. So here we have, I think, wait, is the list, maybe it was updated. Let me check to see if this is, I think I have the right thing in front of me. Yeah, here we go. So they ended up adding this, apparently. And I was first notified this in the afternoon from my fellow XRP YouTuber, Crypto Eddie. So shout out and credit to her. But here you go. They wrote the following. Available 24/7, 365. Liquidity Hub leverages smart order routing to source a variety of digital assets at optimized prices across multiple liquidity venues, including market makers, exchanges, and over-the-counter desks. These deep liquidity pools from multiple providers ensure liquidity is sourced when you need it, from United States dollars to Bitcoin, ETH, Ethereum Classic, which again is the worst cryptocurrency on the entire damn planet, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, USDC, and USDT. And then they write here, XRP will be evaluated along with other tokens for support within the product. We look forward to supporting XRP as it receives regulatory clarity in the United States. And so there you go. XRP is not part of Liquidity Hub because of the SEC v. Ripple lawsuit. So a couple things on this. You might be saying, but Uncle Moon Family Sedan, you just shared with us that this was announced almost a year and a half ago, this new product, announced almost a year and a half ago. Well, that was after after Ripple was sued. They said back then, though, the lawsuit's underway, they said XRP was being included. What gives? Uncle Moon Family Sedan. Well, again, you all gather around the fire. I'm going to tell you what the answer is. The answer is that, and this is my speculation, admittedly, but Ripple was hoping that the case would have been concluded or settled by now. That's my hunch. But now, because look, if you don't have to publicly say, yeah, we're not including XRP, then if you're Ripple, strategically, why would you even want to open that can of worms? Of course you're including XRP, it's your thing. But then, when you finally get to the day where it's launch time, well, we're not going to hold the product back any longer, it's time to launch. They wait till the very last minute, which is launch day, and then they're like, no mention of XRP, they're just silent. As if we weren't going to notice that, though. Of course we're going to notice that. But still, that's how they decided to play this. So they must have known all along that if the case wasn't concluded, they were never going to have XRP in this thing. That would be my hunch anyway. That would be the smart business move. That would be the right play. But what gives then? Does this mean that Ripple doesn't have confidence that they're going to defeat the SEC? I mean, they're selling XRP right now, so for them to not include it here must be a problem, right? No, definitely not. I've been talking about this in recent videos, actually. Ripple, they stopped some time ago, years ago. I can't remember exactly when, but they stopped their programmatic sales of XRP. They're no longer. All of their sales of XRP, and they do buy back XRP also, it all has to do with on-demand liquidity for utility purposes. Because they believe that, and they're right, when it comes down to it, when evaluated by a jury, if it came to it, then they'd be able to recognize, if you look at the actually what the laws are, that if you're buying something and it's purely for utility, there's no investment of money with the expectation of profit, the whole Howie thing, then you're good to go. So they stopped the programmatic sales that could have more easily fit Howie. I'm not saying that they would, but would have more easily fit. SEC would have a stronger case there. And then they went to an area where there is no case. It's literally for utility. And that's all that Ripple's been doing with XRP. Now here, even though Ripple, as it's been publicly spouted by them, isn't going to be actually doing the buying and selling themselves, they're playing matchmaker, kind of like an exchange does. So given that they already stopped programmatic sales years ago, because I think it was before the lawsuit, I could be mistaken, but I think it was before the lawsuit. But it was so long ago, they recognized that, hey, this could technically be a legal problem. Well, they stopped it there for that reason. They don't want to do it anywhere else where you could easily have it, because these other firms, they're buying and selling for whatever reasons. There could be speculation if Ripple's a part of that. While they're in a lawsuit, that doesn't sound like a smart business decision, does it? I don't think so. So I don't blame them one bit. Just like I honestly don't even blame Coinbase. It kind of grinds my gears that now they're getting feisty after not having a backbone, being the little linguini spine. But I get the business decision. I've been consistent on that from the beginning. It's just kind of frustrating to see that they now suddenly grew a spine after not defending Ripple and or XRP. That's the only part that grinds my gears a little bit. But it makes sense there. It makes sense with what Ripple's doing here. I have no qualms with this. I think that's smart. So you keep selling your XRP when it has to do with on-demand liquidity and buy it back there too. And then don't be a facilitator of such transactions when you're part of this case right now. You wait for that to settle down. And then a lot of people are also saying, because there's a complete and utter misunderstanding of what Liquidity Hub is, well, then what's going to bridge all of this? And I'm like, no. Ripple, as far as we know, and I don't pretend to know all the nuts and bolts. I'm just sharing with you what I know based on what they said publicly. Ripple's the messaging system. I don't know that there's any sort of indication been made publicly in terms of how the finality of settlement occurs. I mean, maybe it goes through them, but I have no indication whatsoever that Ripple's holding any asset as a result of this. In fact, I flatly think that that's not the case. They're just now presumably they get some sort of cut or something like this. They get some sort of little profit, but I don't know the how the sausage is made. I don't know what the mechanics are. But you don't necessarily need to bridge anything. Bridging is for when you're operating in a corridor and there is no trading pair for that corridor. That's it. So if there's not, because you can't have every single trading pair that exists on every single exchange where trading occurs on the planet. Like it's never going to happen. So then when you need to get from one place to the other, then you need a bridge. But if you're talking about some of the most liquid, well-known cryptocurrencies on the planet, and so it's going to be less of a problem depending. I mean, it depends on what the payment that's going to be too. But you may not even necessarily need to worry about it. Maybe you go through even the legacy financial system. I don't know, because I haven't seen that articulated. Now, it doesn't mean that there couldn't be a place for XRP. I'm not saying that either. I'm just saying that Liquidity Hub could operate without that service. That's all I'm saying, basically. And so Crypto Eddie tweeted out, because she was getting raked over the coals by some people in the community. Not most people, but there's just a handful of people that were being outright rude. And I was reading some of the stuff and just kind of rolling my eyes. I'm like, my gosh. Because Crypto Eddie was just pointing out that, XRP is not being used by Liquidity Hub. It's not like she's just saying a thing. And some people are getting feisty and kind of getting mad about it and attacking her. I'm just like, whoa, slow your roll, son. So Crypto Eddie said, we should be angry with the enforcement action taken against Ripple and XRP, resulting not being utilized in Liquidity Hub, not the people who noticed. Man, this is a tough crowd. I still want to buy that igloo. And then XRP community member Scott Chamberlain wrote, why can't Ripple use XRP for on-demand, why can Ripple use XRP for on-demand liquidity, but not for Liquidity Hub? And so I responded with the following. I wrote, I don't see why Ripple couldn't use XRP as a bridge in Liquidity Hub if there are pathways where that makes sense. Now, by the way, that's an if. After all, there isn't enough liquidity to have a pair for everything on every platform. But so far, all I've seen from Ripple is that they're a matchmaker. So perhaps, number one of three things. Number one, they have reasons for taking a hands-off approach and only introducing buyers to sellers. And folks, I think that's pretty clear at this point. Well, at least for XRP, they especially wouldn't want to because of the legal action. Outside of that, I don't know what the implications of that would be in terms of custody, this or that. Would they have to even? I don't know what that would necessarily look like. But if you're just pairing up people to meet each other, like you're a dating service for participants in the world of crypto, I get that. Number two, they'll use XRP as a bridge in Liquidity Hub in the future where it makes sense. Number three, they're using XRP as a bridge in Liquidity Hub and just haven't publicly announced that yet. So, look, if you're just talking about XRP as a bridge in Liquidity Hub, I think they could do that today, which is why I don't think they're doing it today, because they probably would have announced that. I really think that at this juncture in time, the only plan is to not bridge anything, because maybe they don't feel like they need to, at least at this juncture in time. XRP, yeah, if you're just bridging, that's for utility. They're already doing that. So that wouldn't be a problem. So you can see it's pretty damn clear. The real issue is the legal concern. That's why XRP is not being offered as something that they're willing to matchmake on. They'll matchmake with these other cryptos, but they won't matchmake you with XRP. That's it. That's all that means. And I don't blame them. They've been consistent in the way that they're selling XRP for years now. This shouldn't be a surprise to anybody, frankly. And so then you have this from attorney Bill Morgan. He was responding to something from attorney Jesse Hines. Jesse Hines wrote, "To be honest, I don't see this as a good sign." So he's referencing the Liquidity Hub stuff with Ripple. I absolutely disagree. I think that Jesse Hines is getting this one wrong. There's nothing about that this is a bad sign. That's just my personal opinion. So he says, "To be honest, I don't see this as a good sign. I don't want to get my conspiracy brain out there, but in my opinion, you only remove XRP if you know something is coming. I truly hope I'm wrong, but I think people can't defend Ripple for this and be mad at Coinbase for delisting." Yeah, well, I wasn't mad at Coinbase. I've been very consistent on the Coinbase thing, like I just said a couple minutes ago. Setting that aside, though, thinking that this is somehow an indication of bad news with Ripple, it just doesn't make sense. I think he's missing information and coming to a conclusion based on lacking key knowledge. Specifically, I don't know if he's been following the case, lately. Perhaps he hasn't been. So he may not even have the understanding that Ripple's only been selling XRP as it pertains to on-demand liquidity, because that's different as it pertains to the Howey test. So Ripple's being completely consistent. I think he's missing that. And attorney Bill Morgan retweeted that and wrote the following: "I just had that thought. In 2021, after the lawsuit commenced, Ripple's statements/documents included XRP and Liquidity Hub. Now they don't. I wondered if Ripple's assessment of its prospects has become more negative since 2021. I don't think so. Personally, I don't think it's because Ripple's assessment of its prospects has changed. There's always been a significant risk of a Ripple loss or part loss. But the defense Ripple ran is surely more robust and effective than anyone, including the SEC, imagined except for Ripple and its attorneys. The reason may the nature of the products or commercial imperatives. It is one thing to use XRP in the ODL product. Ripple can confine that to corridors that don't touch the USA and attract SEC jurisdiction. By not using XRP in the Liquidity Hub product for now, Ripple can progress this product in the US market without its customers being concerned about a securities contravention issue. I don't know enough about Liquidity Hub, so I'm speculating, but Liquidity Hub without XRP for now is a good hedge against a possible Ripple loss and injunction from selling XRP. It may also diversify Ripple's revenue source, which currently relies almost entirely on XRP sales to ODL customers. And it gives Ripple the chance to dominate liquidity solutions in the world's most important market, the United States. If it just waits for the case to finish, a competitor will fill that critical space with alternative liquidity solutions. Bottom line, it does not imply Ripple have assessed they will lose the case or have some inside information about an adverse outcome. It may reflect that Ripple attorneys have advised Ripple of high prospects of this going to trial and further delays into 2024, hence the need for the commercial strategy of not using XRP in Liquidity Hub now. Ripple has shareholders, after all, and extensive partnerships that could be harmed by a misstep on this matter. It can add XRP later. Now, that is an incredible thread from attorney Bill Morgan. Spot on, and I completely agree. That makes all the sense in the world. And so they wanted to get this Liquidity Hub product out now, even without XRP, so that they can, get a foothold, start on a market share. Because the longer you wait, the more you have this obvious opening here for that void to be filled by someone that's not Ripple. Just add XRP in later. It's not a big deal. It doesn't matter. XRP is still being widely adopted with on-demand liquidity. That hasn't changed. Nothing about that has changed. Nothing is negative here, really, other than the obvious implications because of the SEC, but that's it. Everything gonna be fine, son. So thank you for gathering around the fire, children, with Uncle Moon Family Sedan. It's been a good time. Y'all feel better now? Hope that eased your worried souls. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the Moon Family Sedan.